Hello, my name is Ravi Mishra. I'm Technical Marketing Engineer with Cisco in Computing System Product Group. This video is part of UCS Advantage Series, and today I'm going to talk about how you can quickly upgrade from older UCS platform to newer UCS platform without reinstalling your OS. This is a UCS Manager, which is a single place to manage all the resources in UCS domain. In this domain, I have UCS B200 M3 server, which is Intel E5 2600 Sandy Bridge based server. From UCS Manager, you can verify the hardware inventory of the server. This server is dual socket E5 2690. This server also has Cisco virtual interface card, VIC 1240 and VIC 1280 combination. If you click on the service profile associated with the server, you can get more information about the pools and policies associated with this server. Service profile in UCS is the hardware abstraction of the physical server. Service profile can define the identity of the server in terms of MAC address, WWPN, etc., and also configuration of server in terms of policies like firmware policies, BIOS policies, etc. Now I'm going to open a KVM console for the server to verify the OS and application running in the server. This server is running VMware ESXi 5.1 on UCS B200 M3 blade, and there is a single Windows 7 virtual machine. Now we log into the virtual machine to verify the application and network connectivity. So this VM is up and running and connected to the network. Now let's take a look at the server refresh process. Typically, when you refresh a server hardware, it's a forklift upgrade. You need to physically mount the server, do the cabling, establish network and storage access, configure BIOS setting, build RAID volumes, and update any onboard firmware. Then you need to reinstall OS, rebuild the database and key application identities, etc. This requires lots of planning, resource, outage window, and it's a very costly exercise which takes few weeks to months. With UCS, it's a very simple 4-step process, where first you prepare the OS for migration in your old server. This includes identifying source and target firmware version and corresponding UCS driver for Cisco VIC card to the target version. This is the main process. Once the driver is updated, you need to disassociate the service profile from old server and associate to the new server and boot the new OS on new hardware. You don't need to reinstall or reconfigure any operating system or application. From weeks or months, this process will only take an hour, or sometime even you can do it in few minutes. Let me show you the process here with ESXi host as an example. I will log into the VMware ESXi console on my old UCS server to verify the driver version of Cisco VIC card. We will get both Ethernet NIC, eNIC, and Fiber Channel NIC FNIC driver version. eNIC driver version in this case is 2.1.2.42, and FNIC driver version is 1.6.0.5. This is our source UCS server driver version. Now we will open Cisco UCS hardware compatibility list HCL for target firmware version. In this case, UCS B200 M4 server is supported in UCS 2.2.3 firmware version. So we will download the HCL for this version and identify the target driver version. In the HCL, look for the converged network adapter interoperability metrics and go to Cisco VIC 1240, as our new server also has the same VIC 1240. Next, look for our OS, which is VMware ESXi 5.1 U2 in this case. The driver version as per this HCL for target server should be 2.1.2.59 for eNIC and 1.6.0.12 for FNIC. We need to upgrade the OS with these driver version. Now go to cisco.com and download the driver ISO for B series blade for this firmware version, which is UCS 2.2.3. Once you download the ISO, we need to extract the ISO or mount the ISO to the ESXi and update the driver. The driver update process is critical process of this migration because it provides a very simple path to move from old UCS hardware to new UCS hardware and boot from SAN without making any changes in the network or storage. Once the driver is downloaded, mount the ISO and put the ESXi host into the maintenance mode for the driver update. Again, go back to the ESXi console and identify the VIB file under Storage and Network folder inside driver ISO CD and update ESXi with the new VIB file. Once the driver is updated, we need to reboot the host. This requires an outage window, and recommendation is to move or vMotion your virtual machine before this exercise. Once the server boots, please verify the new driver version for ENIC and FNIC. As you can see, both ENIC and FNIC driver version are updated as per HCL. Now your service profile and OS is ready for migration to the new server hardware. Our new server hardware is Blade 7, which is UCS B200 M4 Blade based on Intel Haswell CPU and Grantley architecture. As you know, this new server is based on new Intel architecture, so there might be many underlying hardware differences. But UCS service profile takes care of those changes and hardware abstraction layer for new server. To move the service profile from old hardware to new hardware, we just need to click once in UCS Manager on Service Profile Association and change the association of service profile from old server to new server. This association change will cover our step 2 and 3, which is disassociating the service profile from old server and associating it to new server. This process will take 5 to 10 minutes depending upon the amount of memory in the system, as it requires server to reboot. We can verify the status of the progress from FSM tab in UCS Manager, which provides the overall progress of the association process of service profile. Once the service profile is fully associated, open the KVM window of new server and you will see the new server will get the same identity of the old server. UCS service profile is associated with this new server, and all the configuration, policies and identity of the old server is now acquired by this piece of new hardware. The OS will start booting automatically without asking for any user input or changes, and once the OS boot, we will also verify if our application and virtual machine is working or not as per earlier. Go to the ESXi host in vCenter and connect the host back and exit the host out from the maintenance mode. Power on the Windows 7 virtual machine. The exact similar process can also be followed for Windows-based server, either bare metal or virtualized with Hyper-V. For some OS, especially Windows, you also need to update the chipset driver from driver CD once the OS boots. In this test, we did not vMotion our virtual machine, but in production environment, this is the time when you vMotion back all your virtual machine. Now we will verify if the VM has network connectivity and applications are working without asking for any changes. To recap, we just saw another Cisco UCS Advantage, where UCS provides seamless migration from one hardware platform to another hardware platform without any changes required in application or OS, by leveraging the benefit of stateless computing provided by Cisco UCS service profile, which eventually gives you an easy way to do compute lifecycle management. Thanks for watching this video, and please go to cisco.com/go/UCS to know more about Cisco UCS.